Wet and gloomy day here in Northfield, Ohio. We've been spoiled the last couple of weeks, just sun and sun and sun, and when the rain hits, it's really depressing. So it's not raining right now. I'm going to go up and see how bad the track is. I was going to train Captain Incredible a little bit, but I highly doubt we'll be able to train on this track today. Now, one horse that has to train is Chevron's Bypass. I want to make sure she can get over Northfield. She doesn't show any half-mile lines. Having said that, I did talk to Carter Delgatti. His father, Cran, had... there's Captain right there, right on cue. His father, Cran, had that filly in that mare in New Zealand, and he said he didn't think she'd have a problem getting around a half at all. Now, saying you don't think she'll have a problem getting around a half and having her train on a half are two different things. So we're just going to go up here and have a little boo at the track and see what kind of shape it's in. But it looks like Chevron's Bypass will train. It's not too bad, actually. And Captain...
there's a bunch of rain coming, so they better hurry up.
Oh, there's a bunch of rain coming? Yeah, it's still pretty wet. It's not bad right now if they get on it quick. So that's kind of our day in a nutshell. Watching horses train, cleaning up the barn, getting ready for the babies coming, because it's not just to go to the Ohio sale or the Lexington sale and just buy horses and poof, they're in the barn. You have to clean the barn up, make sure the barn is ready to go for the new horses coming in. All the older gear and all the older liniments that were there and stuff that's just collecting dust and making a mess in the garbage, and start fresh with the sale season this year. Now, last night we had some horses race. Again, we're starting to hit, it's funny how it is. You know, it's been a little slow through Jug Week and here last night. We'll talk about Tenacious in a minute, but Ontario's certainly firing on all cylinders, and quite frankly, you know, I had said this to everybody, when we, it seems like when you get the barn tightened up and it's full of effective horses, that they all just seem to race that much better. And All Gas No Brakes was never in his life as good as he was last night, at least on paper. A new lifetime mark again, 153-2. And this plays into what I've been saying forever. The opposite happens, right? When you have a horse that you put it in where it can't do, all of a sudden what you find after enough of those starts, and it doesn't take many, is you find an inferior version of that horse, right? And we've seen that happen with a number of horses. But you flip that coin over and have a horse that wins and wins and wins. That pop-up series did wonders for All Gas No Brakes confidence, and you saw that last night. Do you see the horses he beat last night? There's like 4 or 5 horses that had raced in the Open in that class. That was no joke. That was an optional 50,000 claimer, and that is the best kind of class for him. If they could fill that every week, oh my God, that would be great. Now, All Gas No Brakes was great. So were the other two that raced in the class that was up a little bit higher. Looks like Money's first start back, 53-1, 27-3, closing from out of the clouds. You knew that was going to happen. He's at the half in 57-2, so last half in 56 seconds flat. Yo Mister was pretty good also, 53-2. So you can see he was just nipped at the wire by, looks like Money. He beat him 3/4 of a length. 53-2, 28-1 on the end of it. Doesn't change how I feel about the entire situation regarding these two horses. I am not going to have Yo Mister tripping all over It Looks Like Money all fall. It's just not going to happen. The last thing I want to do is start moving horses out of Harry's barn when that are racing good in the right class. But if we can't continue to find and stay in the proper class, then, you know, I talked about this. I had somebody message me the other day and say, Anthony, I've been in the game 30 years. You know, you reference ladder racing where you race up and down. He said that's how the conditions work. And quite frankly, it's not how the conditions work. And this is how horse racing has trained some of our older horsemen to believe. That's just how you race horses, up and down the class level. And no, it's not at all. You can have an open horse that maybe isn't quite good enough and drops down. Okay, fine. I get that. But that idea that it's okay to drop all the way down to the non-winners of 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000, and then work your way all the way up, just to work your way all the way back down again, you know, what happens is you end up wasting a good portion of the races of the year, and we're not doing it. And I explained to our client, the gentleman that sent me the email, I said, That may be the case. Maybe that was the way that people like to race horses. We're not racing our horses that way here. We're going to be numbers of 2 up to 10, which we can control. And once they get up over there, if they aren't open horses at Mohawk, they're leaving. And if there aren't horses that can do in open conditions in the Meadows or Northfield or Southern Ohio or Yonkers with Megan, they're leaving also. If they can't do, if I can't enter a horse in a race and have the confidence that that horse will do well, you know, sure, you'll have horses that drop in or, you know, are just good horses. You can't help that. But if you're looking for trouble, you're probably going to find it more times than not. And that's the way that I look at the conditions that we race in. Those non-winners of 5,000 up to non-winners of whatever that was last night with Looks Like Money. Here it was non-winners of 25,000 last 5. So that class up to the open, fine. We can have a horse in there. I'm not having horses race against each other all winter long. That's not happening. And I have zero, very close to zero interest in racing horses in the non-winners of 6,000 up to the non-winners of 25,000. If we don't have a top horse or a horse in the non-winners of 2 up to 10 conditions, then we're probably going to move those horses on, because I have zero interest in racing that way. So, and I hope that my email, and I sound a little curt maybe when I'm saying this to people in this manner, and I hope my email didn't come off angry or rude, because it certainly wasn't meant that way. But I'm trying to be as clear as I can. That form of racing, we are going to stray away from as much as we can, because it's a loser, right? You're losing. You're giving away wins and proper races all year long. Might be 2, might be, you know, 3 out of the top, out of your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you are giving knowingly, going into a race knowing you can't lose because you have to drop money off. We're staying away from that kind of racing as much as we can. So that was Mohawk, a success, a 1st, a 3rd, a 5th. Every horse I thought raced fantastic last night. Now I had a message from somebody also about Tenacious. Said, Anthony, that was an awful conservative drive. Yeah, but I'm known. That's unfortunately it's my fault. I'm a super conservative driver. What's that face? I told everybody in a video yesterday, Tenacious Hanover's liver is quite high, and we had to race him. You had to race him like, I need you to give me 85% tonight. If you can do that, we'll be all right. Now, I didn't foresee a half and 55, and I thought I did get up for second. Watching the replay, could have chased a little harder to get up for second. I feel I could have, maybe, but that certainly wasn't by design. But when it comes to Tenacious Hanover, you know, we are going to race him conservative. And I had somebody alluded, maybe I inferred a little much. I try not to infer from emails or text messages, because that's where problems start. You know, you've seen it, I'm sure, in your own life. You'll send somebody a text or you send somebody an email. Maybe it wasn't worded the best way, and the way they take it, or you took it from them, you infer things, right? Like somebody's being rude or arrogant or ignorant, and they don't mean to be. So I try not to infer from emails, and I hope you don't either. You know, if you catch me late at night or early in the morning, or maybe I've been inundated with emails and I'm short with somebody, my apologies. This is why I get away from emailing altogether. I had told one of our clients a month ago, they were a little upset because they hadn't got as many emails. You know, they don't like the videos. And I told them, this is why I make the videos, because the inferences that come from emails, especially, imagine writing 40 emails, and on the 38th email, you think to yourself, I don't think I truly put enough effort into writing that email. Maybe it was short, maybe the information was lacking. But when I'm done doing a video, everybody should know. So as I said to that client a month ago, this is how we discern our information. This is how we absorb it, and this is how I bring it to everybody, so that you know exactly how I feel. So Tenacious Hanover, 2 important points. This is a horse moving to a half-mile track. Those miles in 51, 52, I don't care. He's following speed and stake races, other horses, like time is on my side. But just because you go race against a horse like that does not mean that you are that horse. And he was good at the start of the year. The classes were kind of, those races were kind of forming. And he's not without his ailments either. So when it comes to Tenacious, just relax. Let him get his liver down. We'll continue. His feet bother him a little bit. His left hind ankle bothers him a little bit. As we continue to work away and chip away at those things and find a way that he's more comfortable. Would he be better with flip-flops on? I have bars on him behind, but I don't really find him that much better with the bars on behind than I did when I trained him without them. for Tim his first training mile. So if they're not helping, are they actually hindering? So these are things we're trying to flesh out on a horse like Tenacious Hanover. But keep in mind, there's lots of racing for this horse. You know, the idea that he should be 1-5 and race at 1-5, sure, I'd love him to be. But when you go half in 54 and go mile in 54 and 3, or half in 55 and go mile in 54 and 3 here at Northfield Park, that's no cup of tea. And if you think that isn't a very similar mile to 52 and a piece at the Poconos, well, you're just wrong. This is not the Northfield of old. So I was very, very happy with what I saw from everybody last night, especially Tenacious, knowing that his liver count was up and knowing that we're working on a number of these issues. But I thought the horse raced rather well. And for the people that maybe think he didn't, you're going to have to temper your expectations. Yes, there's going to be horses we pay $20,000 for that go out and race good. There's going to be horses we pay $50,000 or $60,000 for that aren't. You don't get to extrapolate that data and say, well, this is what we paid. The horse we paid 20 for. This is how good he is. Clearly, the horse we paid 60 or 50 for should be up here. Doesn't always work that way, and that's the thing when you're buying horses to race in condition races. We do the best we can, but we're going to lose on some. We're going to win on some. I don't think Tenacious Hanover's a loser in any way, shape, or form. Just going to have to take your time. Now, we did sell a number of horses yesterday. I had 2 people, one last night, one this morning, asked me about no free lunch. I had told everybody, and I had asked Stacy. She was very nice about it. She texted me and said, hey, would you mind if I bid on no free lunch? I rather like him. And I know that, you know, he's not awesome right now, but I think at Dayton maybe he'll be a little bit better. I don't agree necessarily, but I said, yes, no problem. You can bid on him because the optics, right? You don't want to do that. And she understood that. The optics of us putting a horse in the sale and the trainer that currently has that horse buying the horse, not the greatest. And she knew that. So I had said, yeah, go ahead and bid on the horse. I just ask one favor. If you buy the horse, can you let any clients that want to stay in on no free lunch do so? And she said, absolutely no problem. So we did have a couple clients ask, but now, to be fair, we're moving into the fall where we're focused on babies and acquiring racehorses, moving racehorses. No free lunch is not a stable horse any longer. So if anybody wants to stay in with no free lunch, that's perfectly fine. But you'll do so with Stacy. That horse will be coming off the stable board today, I assume. Now I'm looking at the entries for Wednesday. Hopefully the rain, it's not going to stay away. Hopefully it does. We're going to qualify Westland Warrior tomorrow afternoon. Fire and Shine, Roser and Alexander, Chime Bell. Oh, Rock Shining Star races Wednesday. I didn't know that. 2-1 Wednesday. Good luck to all my partners on him. George of the Jungle is in tomorrow. Now, a little curious situation with George of the Jungle. He actually, although we weren't going to enter him in the grassroots consolation, he does fit it. So I think the plan is to enter him in the grassroots consolation, and then we'll see what happens. Surely, I don't believe he was in the top 10, so we couldn't not enter him in Grand River thinking he would get in the consolation. But if he does get in the consolation, then we have a decision to make. Where are we going to race him, Grand River or in this grassroots consolation? I suspect the judges will be kind to Dominic and not fine him, because obviously we want to race our horse for the most money, especially since he's an Ontario sired horse. But understanding we couldn't forego entering him in an overnight event this week, hoping that he would somehow get in the consolation. So if he gets in the consolation, we're going to have to make a decision. He won't race in both. We'll decide which one we're going to race him in. Love and Affection, Purple People Eater's in a good spot tomorrow. And I did not know that Flashfly was in. 7-2. Flashfly. That looks fun. What's that?
That looks fun.
Yeah, no. Usually we have a 11:30, a 16th race. Try 11:59 and 58 seconds is when that'll go off. So we have a full board tomorrow. 1, 2, 3. Then the horse. Then that's Chime Bell.
Well, that's Sway back.
No. What's he want?
She been what, sir?
She eats her hay, she eats her hay cubes, and that's fine. She eats her grain too, but she still gets mash. The same argument between me and her, I have a different opinion. I don't think she should be getting mash constantly.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah, he likes
That's a good question to ask. So one of our riders was asking about giving the mashes to Lover's Play, and I told him yes, I want to make sure she gets those mashes. So this is a great question. It brings up a little side note. You can get back in now. It brings up a little.
It wasn't really a part of.
You can be though. Come on. It brings up a good question. So a lot of the horses that I feel are a tiny bit thin, what we'll do is they get their breakfast. What time do they get fed earlier? Like 4:35, yeah. And then they'll jog at 7:38. So I ask that the thinner horses go out first, and then around 9:30, 10, we'll feed them a mash, like a second lunch, a first lunch, and then they'll get their lunch at 12. So that extra feeding, that extra meal, it really does help put the weight on them quite quickly, and it is important to do. So he was asking why we did that, and can we just give them feed? Well, there's a number of reasons. One, mash has lots of water in it, right? So it's good for the horses. And two, it helps put the weight on them, not just to feed, but the bran. So it is important in my mind to make sure we do that. We have about 4 or 5 horses that are on that type of schedule here at the track, and Lover's Play is one of them. So it's a very timely question by Scott. So tomorrow we have Fire and Shine, outside post, going to be tough. Rose Run Alexander's in a great spot. What are her odds? 6-5. So she's in a good spot to take a lifetime mark tomorrow, hopefully. Chime Bell, I thought trained great on the weekend. What are her odds? 4-1. So coming off a very lackluster mile at the Meadows, I guess 4-1 is fair. I thought she trained rather well here, and we did do vet work on her. Rock Shining Stars in a great spot. Georgie, don't know if he's going tomorrow. He's 4-1 from post 7. Love and Affection's going to get the toughest assignment from post 8. But she should get around the first turn good. We made some shoeing adjustments with her. I believe we did some vet work on her, but the 8-hole is still the 8-hole. And Purple People Eater 7-2. I think there's one horse in there that's kind of tough, but she's in a great spot also, as is Flash Fly at 7-2. She drew the 2-hole. So although it's not our regular supporting cast on Wednesday of horses that are 6-5, 8-5, 9-5, we do have a pretty good lineup for Wednesday coming your way. So it's Tuesday today. We don't have anything racing today. Maybe Amy and I are going to go home and pour through the catalog again, have a look at some other horses, and make some plans as we get ready to go to Lexington. So a little bit longer video for you this morning, especially since they're not doing a whole lot. But we do plan on training Chevron's Pass, and I might ask them to go Gold Mile with... the track doesn't seem that bad. I would like to see Captain Incredible go. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. I hope you're having a great morning. It's a little bit rainy. Hopefully it's sunny wherever you are. If it's not, get an umbrella, get a coffee, watch a video. Take care.
It's 100%.